Hello there, my name is Bruce Rain from Brackers Creations, and thank you very much for joining me for today's live stream. It is Sunday here. What is it? It is 11. Yes, it's 11 o'clock. And if it seems like I'm streaming a little bit later than usual, it's actually the same time here, but because we've done the daylight savings is switched off now. So we've gone back an hour, and so that just means it pushes the hours a little bit apart. So and of course, hello to anyone who's watching this on the replay. If you're watching this stream and you're not actually watching it live, thank you very much for watching. Please feel free to jump on and say hello in the comments. For everyone else, you say hello in the chat. So I'm going to go in and say hello to everyone who has joined me today. So oh, hang on, look at that, some of the earlier ones have gone away. Who I don't know why, but anyhow, so there were ones before this and I can't see them, but anyhow. Hello to Kai, hello to Mark Anning, hello to Will from KMac, hello to Colin from This Does Not Compute, Gibbertronics, Foxhound 477, Roger Salter, Mr. Tech Gadget, Ryan Joffrey, Jared Burma, Patrick Pitts, Point 5, Sadmac356, I can smell something burning. Oh, I know what it is. Ascertain 20, Tommy Thomas. Now see, Stian. I was told how to pronounce that before, and I've forgotten already. Yeah, I'm good at that. That's one of my famous skills, is being told something and then forgetting it. Now, I can tell you what's burning. I turned on my soldering iron a moment ago, and yesterday I used my soldering iron for melting something plastic, and there's still a little bit of residual plastic on the tip of the iron, and that is what I can smell burning, and it's like yucky. There we go. I really need to get a spare soldering iron tip. I realise I don't have a spare, and I go through these at a rate of knots. So, okay, so what did I want to talk about? A couple of things. So in my last live stream, I was working on a watch of all things, a Seiko watch, the Running Man watch, and I managed to get that mostly working. So there was a problem with it, and that is that I think the liquid crystal display itself has probably ended up getting a little bit of corrosion and stuff like that, and even after a fair bit of cleaning, not all of the liquid crystal shapes, I don't know what do they call them, there's a name for the little, like when you've got a number and you've got all the little shapes, so little kind of modules in there or whatever they call them. Not all of them are as bright as the rest of them. I've cleaned all the contacts, cleaned the little zebra connectors, cleaned the liquid crystal itself, but I think there is some damage to liquid crystal. But it does tell time. It does work, and the little man even runs, but he's just like some of the pixels are a little dimmer than others. So anyhow, but the guy who sent it to me, he's happy with that. I'm going to send it back to him. He actually ended up finding another one online in mint condition. So he'll have a really good one, and then he'll have the average one that I've repaired. So there you go. So anyhow, that was all good. Then I also started working on a floppy drive, which I have here. This is the floppy drive, and this is in the process of testing. So when I test these, what I do is I rig them up to a power supply, and I just get them to eject over and over and over again. And it's labouring a bit. I'm not particularly happy with it. I'm not quite sure what to do, but it doesn't seem to be giving this the full 100% oomph. I don't know if that's related to the cog that I've put in there. I might try a different cog, but that's kind of where we are with that. That is the first of 8 that I have to do a restoration for, so I hope they're not all as annoying as that one. Now, the other thing I want to mention, so Mr. Tech Gadget, he is in the chat there. Hello to Mr. Tech Gadget. I'm not sure if you want me to use your real name or not. Some people are funny about that, and other people don't care, but I won't make any assumptions. So, I got a little care package from Mr. Tech Gadget. This came in during the week, to the box. And inside here, there is all sorts of awesomeness. We have got I'm going to have a lot of fun building these. I'll be doing these on a live stream, that's for sure. What have we got here? We've got a Oh wow! Look at these. He's got all the things there, so that I know where to put them. Oh, it's all surface mount as well. I love it. Awesome. So this is a hip hopper ADB. So this is one of these things. I don't know if it's both ways or just one way, but it's one of these things that does ADB to USB. I know some of them do both directions. Other ones only do one direction. So this is hip hopper tech by Androda. So he sent me one of these little bundles. So that's going to be a fun one to build. He sent me here it is. Is this it? Is this it? Yeah. Is this it? Now I'll have to look at the paperwork because the paperwork has all the important stuff. A2 Pico. This is for Apple II, and this is one where you can get the device to emulate a number of things, either a drive disk emulator, Z80 CPM, soft SP, serial interface with Raspberry Pi, UART terminal. UART. I don't know if that's how I'm supposed to pronounce it. And then I've also got here A2 DVI. So this allows you to output digital video from the Apple II, that's a fantastic thing. I'm really looking forward to that. And I think that's it. Yeah. So that's a lot of those things. So that's going to be a lot of fun. So again, a huge thank you to Mr. Tech Gadget, and just for anyone who is watching, please check out his channel. Let me just get a little link here. Oopsie. Copy. And I'll just drop that into here. What's going on? Is my keyboard not working? That's always possible. Copy. Let's just see if that pastes. Yep, okay. And then I'll try this here now. Oh wow, it's not pasting. What if I try here? Paste. Yeah, that worked. Who knows? Okay, so there's Mr. Tech Gadget's channel. Please go and check it out. Maybe give him a subscribe if you're feeling generous. And yeah, thank you again. Real name is on my GitHub. There you go. So that's Josh. Thank you, Josh, for sending all that stuff over. And in particular, I mean, the A2 to DVI, I'm really interested to try that out. Got to lug the old Apple IIe out. I have to replace the power supply in my Apple IIe. It has a US power supply, so I've got to buy something else. I don't know if it'll have enough. I can use one of those. Get like a 12-volt power supply and then get one of these Pico ATXs, and these output all of the power rails that you need, but I don't know if these have enough grunt to power a 2E. Well, it's 160 watt, but then again, I don't know about all the different power rails, but we'll see. I mean, I might end up just using that. Just use that and a 12-volt power supply and see if I can run the old Apple, modify the power supply for the Apple IIe so that it'll run on 240 volts or 230 something. So if I'm with those 0402 on that A2 DVI, I shouldn't think I will have a problem. I do love it. I tell you, the smallest component I have ever soldered, and it did give me a little bit of a grief, was an 01005. So this is my electronics hobbyist torture test, electronics hobbyist torture test, and it's really funny because I love this. I think it's awesome. It's a great thing, but the guy who makes it stopped making them. So you've got a little USB connector here, so you can actually just it's a little bit short. You need to build these up a little bit, but you can plug this into a USB port and it will run this, and it's got a little AT Tiny 24 on there, and then it's got a bunch of LED lights, and they blink and flash and stuff if you've done all your soldering correctly. So you have to solder all this on, and then you put all of these resistors in place. And then you start off with a nice easy 1206s, then down to 0805, then to 0603, 0402, 0201, and then 01005. And the 01005 did give me a little bit of grief, I'm going to tell you that. But I got them all on, so that's good. So anyhow, I would love for the guy who made this to do these again, because I think these are just a wonderful little idea. And I got a lovely compliment from him when I made it. He said, "I think you soldered those on better than I did." So I thought that was a nice compliment to get. Now I got some more mail. I will get to the stuff in a minute. I do apologise, but I do have to just mention this stuff. I got a package from Kay Kober, another package from Kay Kober. So hello to Kay. I don't think he's in the chat today, but and he I recently built the SP to SD on my channel, but unfortunately there are a few missing bits. Now what he did very nicely was he then sent me the missing bits so that I could have the actual parts. And the reason why it's important for me to have the actual parts is it is my intention to build a case for it. And I'm going to probably do it in the style of an Apple IIe, something like that, just for a bit of fun. And so he sent me the actual part so that I can make sure mine will be exactly the same. But what he also did is he sent me a whole nother one. A whole nother one. Yeah, so we've got a whole nother one. So I'm going to be building another one, which is actually great because I can have now one for my Apple IIc and one for my Apple IIe. So that'll be cool. So yeah, that was really nice of him to do that. So I'll be making another one, which of course is fun. I love making stuff, which is of course what I'm going to be doing today. Now, Kay sent me something else, but I'm not allowed to talk about it yet. I will be probably featuring this in my live stream next week. So that will be, I believe, the official announcement of what's hiding in this box. This is something that came from the brain of Kay Kober, and it is an interesting one. It is a very interesting one. So this works with a particular compact Mac, and I'm really looking forward to showing this off. So as I say, that's for next week's live stream. We'll be having a look at that and testing it out and talking about its values. What's good about it, why it got made, why it's great for the world. So that's coming. Now, I cleaned my bench. I'm just going to show you here. I'm going to jump to my top view. Oh, it's a bit zoomy, isn't it? I think better zoom out a bit. Just bear with me a sec. There we go. That's a bit better. And now, of course, clean is a relative term. I know. My clean is very different to other people's clean, but I've got enough room to stick a board on here. Now, that's the main thing. Sorry, I've twisted this bloody camera. There we go. That's a better. And what was the point of that? Oh, yes, when I clean my desk. So I get this solder wick. Well, there you go. There's some brand is Gut, G-O-O-T, Gut wick. It's really funny because I get so many of those like spam email messages where they say, "We've checked your website and it has spelling mistakes. Contact us and we'll help you make your website better," and all this sort of stuff. And I think it keeps finding the word "gut" in my on the page, and so it's because that's, I think, the only spelling mistake that's on there, but it's not a spelling mistake. And so I bought some more of this the other day because I knew I was running low. But then I cleaned my desk and realised I wasn't actually running low at all. I've still got plenty. So, yeah, never mind. That's why it's good to clean your desk from time to time. Oh, you got one as well, did you? Yes, okay. So there we go. I'm not the only one with one then. Okay, now I am going to quickly say hello to the chickens. We'll just see if they're there. There's one. That's the blind one right there in the middle of the screen there. And then you can actually see, oh, there is one on the far left kind of wandering around, but it's hard to see it through the mesh there. Well, I'll be doing a live stream, so probably not a whole video, but I may end up actually doing a video because I really do want to feature the other products of Kay's, and it's very hard for me to test them down here because I don't have a whole lot of desk space. So for that reason, I'm a bit sort of limited to doing it as a pre-recorded video up on the kitchen bench there because I don't have the studio space. I'm in a 3-bedroom house. One of the bedrooms is the bedroom of my wife and I, and my wife and me, sorry. And then we both work from home, so we both need an office. So we've got bedroom, office. So I don't have any rooms left, so I end up having to do my recordings in the living room. and I bring out the lights and stuff. I've got some new lights recently. Really, really happy with them. So I've got one slightly smaller light. It's about an 80 watt LED. And then I've got a 200 watt LED, and that one really cranks out some lights. So I've got a kind of like a key and a fill. I'm probably going to get one more, maybe of the 80 watt ones. And I've got, and then I had old studio lights, and I modified the softbox to work on the new lights, because the old one, the softbox is built into the lights itself, whereas these new ones use a Bowen's mount for attaching a softbox, and so I've made an adapter so that the softbox can then fit onto a Bowen's mount for anyone who's interested in studio lights. But I'm very, very happy with those. They're very, very good, and they're GVM brand. They're really, look, the quality, just you can't knock the quality. I've been so happy with them, and not particularly expensive, and it works with an app as well. So I can actually sit there and adjust the lights on my phone. I can adjust the brightness of the lights on my phone via Bluetooth. That's me adjusting them with my thumb, and it's it's fantastic. So if I'm just sitting there looking at myself, and I've got my camera there, I've got my little monitor to watch myself on the camera, and then I can just go, oh, it's a little bit bright on this side, so I just turn that light down a little bit and turn this light up a little bit. It's fantastic. Love it. Okay, now, why are we all here? We're all here because of this. Now, this is a reproduction Macintosh Quadra 950. Now, there are a whole bunch of reproduction boards out there, as we know. There are some... there's things like the Macintosh Classic, there's the SE30, there's the 2CI, there's the LC475. I'm sure I'm missing some, but there's lots and lots of reproduction boards, and there's more coming. Now, some of them are done in the way where they basically take an original board. This is certainly how the SE, not SE30, but this is certainly how the SE and the Macintosh Classic were done. Basically take an original board, you take all of the solder mask off, you kind of scan it in, and then you retrace all the traces. And you essentially make a carbon copy of the board. And then you've got a little bit of work to try and work out what's going on with the middle layers. But the middle layers with those boards is typically just ground and power. And so you can just kind of work out where the power's going, and then you basically build it. So that is not how Bolle works. So Bolle works in a different way, where he actually redoes these, redesigns them, and with sort of these boards, he makes sure everything that needs to be in the right position are in the right position. So obviously things like new bus ports, they've got to be exact, because they line up with the slot at the back. So these have to be in the right position. But some of the things, there's a little bit of give. But on the whole, he puts everything pretty much where the original was, but he's not doing it as a straight carbon copy. And so that kind of allows him to make a few little alterations here and there if he wants to. For instance, in the SE board, SE and the 2FX board, he set those up with... hang on, sorry. Just need to check this here. I just realised I'm sitting here. There we go. With the so with the 2FX board and the SE, he actually set them up so if you want to, you can solder the ROM straight to the board. If you want to, you can use a little coin cell battery instead of using the half AA. This one looks to be pretty much the same. I mean, he might do another variation of this and might add some stuff to it. But for the moment, this one looks pretty much like the original Quadra 950 board. Now, building one of these, so again, a huge thank you to Bolle for sending this to me. Basically, he designed the board. He then got some made up, and he tested it, and it worked first go. And so he was like, wow, this worked first go. And then he had some left over and said, do you want to have a crack? Because he knows that I'm crazy. And I'm like, yeah, I'll give it a whirl. Why not? Just anyone who's in the chat, could you just say something? Because it just sort of seems like nothing's happened in the chat in a really long time. And that might be fine. That might be how it is. But just in case there's something wrong. So this arrived in the mail. It's got no components on it whatsoever. There we go. All good. It's working. Thank you. Just wanted to check. so this has got no components on it at all. So everything has to be put on. All of the birdseed, and this one's got birdseed on both sides. So yeah, all the birdseed has to be put on. All the slots and everything like that. And the reason why I found this very appealing, when he actually contacted me and said, would you like to have a go at one of these? The reason why it was so appealing is because of this. This is a Quadra 950 board that I got. I can't remember how I got it, but it was battery damaged. And I had an opportunity to get it. Someone sort of said, oh, do you want this? It's a battery damaged board. And I'm like, yeah, I'd like to get it going. No case. The person who gave it to me, they were using the case for something else, I think. So I didn't have a case for it. So the plan was this. I was going to get it working, and then I was going to do some sort of fun build thing, Rooney. By the power of Grayskull, it's gigantic. Thankfully, it does fit in my ultrasonic cleaner, so that does make life a little bit easier for me. So I got this. When I got this originally, the first thing I did was ultrasonically cleaned it. It didn't work, just giving me sort of bad noises. I removed. There was battery damage. See, this is where the battery lives here, and there was battery damage here. It had leaked. There's some corrosion around there, and so I removed some of these RAM slots to see if there was damage underneath them. They weren't too crash hot, but even after a little bit of repair, it still wasn't working. Now, this is probably a pretty easy board to repair. At the end of the day, given the minimal amount of battery damage, I suspect with the right conscientious attitude, I could probably get this one working. But here's what happened. Relatively soon after I got this, I got an actual working Quadra 950 in the case. So a friend of mine who went somewhere to buy a bunch of computers, they had a few 950s there. He's like, do you want one of them? And I'm like, yeah. It didn't have the key, unfortunately, but one day, if I can borrow a key from someone, I'm going to reproduce one. Because it only needs to be aesthetic for me. It doesn't actually need to be a functional key. I just want it so that it sits in there and dangles and stuff. But anyhow, I don't have a key for it. But the Quadra 950 I have, it is fully functional. Absolutely perfect. There's not a thing wrong with it. Power supply works, logic board works. So for that reason, I just kind of lost interest in this. Now, you may notice there's something fairly important missing, and that's how I got it. I got this without a CPU. There's a 33 megahertz 68040 it's supposed to have in it. There's a full one with a floating point unit in it. I don't have one of those. I have got two 20s and a 25, and they're all LC CPUs. That's what I have. So I haven't figured out what I'm going to do. Thomas, hello there. I haven't figured out what... I haven't said... being at liberty. Hello there. And I'm about to sort of mention the whole issue that I have here, that I have no CPU. So I could put a 25 megahertz LC one in there, and it'll run at 33, and we'll just have to hope it doesn't blow up. I can add some extra cooling or a heatsink or something like that. Other than that, I might have a dead board somewhere that I can maybe raid one from. See, there's the 840 AV. I might have a dead 840 AV here. I'm not sure. I'll have to check. So I might be able to raid a CPU from that, because then I can stick a 40 megahertz on it, and that'll run happily on a 33 megahertz sort of clock speed. But these are all things that we'll figure out when we get a little bit further on. For testing purposes, I can always just take the CPU off my other 950, so I can test this down the line. Now, obviously, I need to set a few expectations with this. I am not going to be getting this in any state of testing today. This is a long, laborious process. We'll start it today, and we'll get as far as we can get. It is a big board. There's a lot of stuff on it. So I've got to get all of these little guys off here and put them onto the other one down there. So we'll just have to work our way through it and see how long it takes. And then of course further down the track, I'll then have to start removing these guys and these guys so I can bring them in. These are a little bit trickier, and I use my heat machine for that. But I'm not going to use my heat machine until I've taken everything off because the heat machine does terrible things to the board. And this is the only donor I have. Only one. 840 AV is a nice machine. If I was going to get 68k Mac, the 950 is the dream boat. Yeah, look, I mean, I have a few Quadras. I've got a Quadra 700, I've got a Quadra 840 AV, I've got a Quadra 660 AV, got a Quadra 610, got a Quadra 650, got a Quadra 950. That's the full range. So what I don't have is I don't have, pipe in if I've missed any, but I don't have a 900 and I don't have an 800. I don't really care too much about the 800. The 840 AV, to me, it's like I don't feel a need to have the 800 and the 840 AV. If I had an 800, I'd be happy with that, but I've got the 840 AV, and that makes me even happier. Dave is here. Hello there, Dave. So that's kind of, you know, I'm pretty happy with my Quadra collection. The 950 was one that I was very happy to get. The 840 AV and the 950 ones that I was very happy to get, and believe it or not, the 650 as well. I always had a real soft spot for the 650. It is 650, isn't it? Yeah. Oh, well, I've got a Quadra 605 too. I shouldn't forget the little 605. Yes, thank you, 0.5, for reminding me. Which is really just an LC 475. So yeah. Of course, my Quadra 605 has, and it's actually, mine's pretending to be an LC475, has a CPU upgrade into it, so it's actually a PowerPC 601. I'm working on a video on that, and I just haven't got to it because I've had so many other things going on. I'm getting very close to completion of my product review of the Fume 2C53T multimeter signal generator oscilloscope. Now, I haven't had a chance to test the multimeter yet. I've tested the oscilloscope and I've tested the signal generator, but I haven't tested the multimeter yet. So I've got no idea what its level of quality, accuracy is, but I guess we can probably test it today. And of course, I'll be testing it for the video. Chat seems to be slow or not working correctly. I blame YouTube. It looks like I'm sitting on around about 40 viewers or thereabouts. So, anyone see Steve's stream the other day where he got like 200 viewers? I'm sitting there going, what? What? Goodness me. Couldn't believe it. I can't believe it. Okay, so, in order to get this happening, I'm going to have to set this up. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to do it in terms of the actual, what you call it, logistics of it all. But I am going to have to move a few things out of the way, like my floppy drive. You get out of the way, Mr. Floppy. You can stay there for the moment. I'll move these wires so I don't burn them with my hot air station, because I will be using the hot air station for this. So we'll just go here top. I've got my little side view here as well if we need it, should we need it. I should probably zoom in a little, shouldn't I? I probably will. So we've got the top view, we've got the side view, and we've got the microscope view as well. Let's go, that can go there too. Dippity dip. And yeah, so the way that I'm going to be doing this is I'm going to probably just get this board and plonk it on top. And certainly for some of it, what I'll do is I will just heat and then plonk and then heat and then plonk and then heat and plonk and heat and plonk. I need to tin a lot of these pads, and that's the way I do it, not the way everyone does it. So what I typically do is I get solder onto these pads, little blobs of solder, then I hold the component with tweezers, a little bit of flux on there, heat it, and then the surface tension of the solder just pulls the little component in place. Bought a DWS 200 soldering station with 9 tips and 2 pens for it. Now, DWS, I don't know what that is, so I will have to search for that. DWS 200, you say? Looking. DWS 200. Oh, that looks flash. Oh, it's a Fume. There you go. See, I didn't know. I'll have to get them to send me one of those. Wouldn't mind. That looks flash as, bro. So, what sort of tips does it use? Wow, that is a flash soldering iron. I'm going to put the screen on so you guys can see it. Share screen. Why is it showing that when I'm looking at that? That is the weirdest thing ever. That's Mr. Tech Gadget's. There we go. So what's happening here? That. Display window capture. Display capture. There we go. It was just weird. It was just not showing the frontmost window. It was showing the next window back. A bug in OBS, I dare say. So yeah, look at this. It looks like a shoe, doesn't it? Don't you reckon that looks like a big shoe, like a robot shoe? But yeah, that's a thing, all right. I'm going to definitely be once I get this, I'm going to get them to send me one because that looks interesting. Let me have a look here. Okay. Okay. Because you know, I'm my main station is a Hacko FX951. It is now an obsolete product. Okay, so it has been replaced by another Hacko, and there are lots of things that I like about the Hacko. One of the main things I like about the Hacko, and I'm just going to jump across here. I'll probably do this with the top view. The main things I like about the Hacko is this distance here. So the distance, God, this is dirty. Sorry about that, folks. It's my grubby hands. The distance between where you hold the iron and where the tip is. It's a very short distance there. I also like the fact that you can remove these tips while they are hot. So this is hot. The tip of that is like 400 degrees Celsius, and I can hold this at the base like that to swap it out to another one. There are some of these cartridge type soldering irons out there, and they're a bit shorter. And those ones you can't do this to. You can't hold in your hands like that while the tip is hot. So from my perspective, that is one of the things that I really do like about this, is being able to hot swap the tips. And I don't know if the DWS 200 can do that, but I would like to give it a try. So I might get in touch with them and just sort of see if I can review it, because that is that's a very impressive looking iron. I mean, it looks the business. Is that rechargeable? I don't know. It just sort of, the way it looks like there are dots on the front looking like it's like rechargeable, but I don't know. But anyhow, I like it. I like the look of it because it looks like a big shoe. Big robot shoe. T245 cartridges are powerhouses. I love them and they heat up very fast. Definitely they are my new favourites. Oh, cool. Okay. Ruben. Hello to you, Ruben. Ruben, is it Mejia? I'm not very good with the pronunciations. Okay, so anyhow, just referring quickly back to the Quadra board, which is why we're here in the first place. If anyone have a spare, not like anyone will, 6804033 megahertz CPU, please let me know so that I can put it in this. Be very presumptuous that I'm going to get it working, aren't I? I probably should calm the farm first. Right, so I'm going to probably start from the bottom here and work my way up. So I will start tinning this little batch of this little batch down here. I'll start tinning those, and I'm going to have to move this camera. Sorry. There we go. Crotch cam. Okay. Oh, I got it right. Excellent. I'm glad I got the pronunciation right, or at least close enough, so as to not completely embarrass myself. Right. There we go. So, yeah, I have a ridiculous number of tips for this soldering station. That's another reason why I kind of stick with it. But having said that, most of the stations you can go out and you can buy bundles of tips. You just get a whole stack there. The things that I don't like about this Hacko station, first of all, it looks like a child's toy, but that's neither here nor there. Second of all, it uses a stupid key. So you need a key if you want to change the temperature. It's like it's a soldering iron like they set up in a factory where the workers aren't allowed to change their own temperature, which is just, I don't understand that. And the interface is really, really dumb. So what I think, personally, I think one of the best ways to change the temperature of a soldering iron would be to have like a little dial. You could just, with a liquid crystal, with a digital display, so you can turn it up, like you would with a power supply. You have a little knob to change the power supply, or a oscilloscope. So a little knob would be perfect, but even, if you haven't got that, buttons that go up and down. This one has buttons that go up and down, but they don't change the temperature. If you want to change the temperature, you have to select the number on the screen. So like if your temperature's 390 and you want to change it to 400, so you have to go and select the 3 and then change that to a 4, and then you have to move across to the 9 and then change that to a 0 and do it that way. And it's just, to me, it's just tedious. It's the dumbest interface out there. But it has lots of other things going for it, in terms of the power supply, and it automatically puts itself to sleep when it's not in use and all that sort of crap. But if I find a better one, I'll use a better one. No, not rechargeable. Okay, fair enough. Distance is about the same as the Hacko. That's good enough for me. Yeah, I'd say, well, I'm not going to ask them for it until I get the review of this Funersi out, this oscilloscope multimeter, because, I don't want them to send me anything new until I've done the old, but I definitely want to give that a try. It makes sense for me to review soldering irons because of what I do. It just makes sense. Now, I'm just thinking about what's going to be the best thing to do with the camera here. Well, first of all, I can jump across to the microscope and I'll do a little bit of tinning. Scope, there we go. Everyone's going to get used to purple during this, so let's just start small. Do a few of these. Get my old solder here, and I'm just going to go and put blobs on each of these. I'm not even using any additional flux with this. There's flux in the solder. It's not particularly good flux, and I might use my fume extractor because fumes are bad. I was very, very pleased to see the other day that the extremely expensive Hacko fume extractor also has its controls on the floor. So, yeah, so it's the same as the one that I use, the Vevor, but I have modified it, and I will make a video of that one day so that I can actually switch it off and on via a button on the neck. In it now. Okay, the first Mac I bought was an LC2, 4 megabytes of RAM, 160 megabyte hard drive. Yeah, the LC2 was a good Mac. The original LC, I felt with the 68020, I know it was low cost and everything like that, but I felt it was a little bit underpowered. The LC2 got us the 68030, and with a little bit of jiggery pokery, you can even add a floating point unit to it. So, shame about, I think the LC2 still had a 10 meg RAM cap though, if I remember rightly. These are lovely fresh pads. Fresh, clean pads. So fresh and so clean. Ain't no one as dope as me. Anyone seen any good films lately? Always on the lookout. And in a moment we're going to have a little conversation about flux. It's that time. Gone are the days for waiting for the irons to heat up. I used to make a coffee and a sandwich. Now it's instant. I love it. Yeah, the Hacko takes. It was interesting. I recently reviewed some soldering tweezers. They were fast, but they didn't have that much thermal. The tips were very thin. They're very tiny, weeny little tips. The Hacko takes probably 15 seconds, maybe something like that, 15 to 20 seconds. So, yeah. Saw the Amateur. I don't know that one. Okay, let's just move the scope out of the way. And we... see, I probably prematurely did that. But what I'll just need to quickly talk about flux. So I'm just going to switch this off for a moment because it's yelling at me. Stop yelling at me. There we go. Now, I've got a great big pile of flux over here, and I'm going to probably try a few of them while I go. But I recently got hold of this new product. Oh, geez, come on, where is it? This new product from Stiri called the V5. That's V4. It's around here somewhere. Sorry, I'm just going to have to do some fluxing here. I've got some of the old Amtech ones here as well. Look at that, ancient. Stiri ASM, Hydra. Where have I put it? ASM, V4. Is it falling on the floor somewhere? It's always possible. And it was the one I was using just the other day, so it can't be too far away. ASM. Hydra MA, that's good stuff. This is the one. I think this is, Colin, if you're in the chat, I think this is the one you use, is it not? The Hydra MA? Oh, this one was terrible. Yeah, I remember trying this one. This one was awful. Don't even know why I keep that. Yeah, so that's a good one. Stiri ASM TF. Stiri ASM UHF. So this is an ASM. ASM is the one that I normally use, and this is one that has, they've taken out something. Can't remember. I have no idea where I put my V5. It can't be far. I mean, I cleaned up the workshop the other day. It's got to be here somewhere. I've dropped it on the floor or something like that, or it's been pushed right to the back. But the V5 was very impressive. I used it in my last live stream, and I was very, very pleased with its performance. So I will be mentioning that in the video that I do about it. But what I'll probably do in this one is I'd like to try this ASM UHF, because I do like using the ASM flux, but I do like the idea of a version coming out with slightly less toxic chemicals in it. So we have to remember, at the end of the day, flux has chemicals in it you don't want to be breathing. And as much as possible, you want to try and avoid it. You might get a little bit here and there, and it may not be too bad. Some flux is worse than others. But at the end of the day, no matter what you're using and no matter how clean it is, still try and use Fume Extractor. That's my main recommendation to everyone. Okay. Sol is here. Hello there. Seeing videos of people in the theatre freaking out at the chicken jockey. Yeah. Now, so I'm not a Minecraft user at all. So that movie has absolutely no interest to me whatsoever. I have never played Minecraft. I have no interest in playing Minecraft. And I have no interest in watching a movie about Minecraft. But yeah, there's this, what would you call it? What would you call it? A trend, a stupid, childish trend by some of the biggest losers in the world, that when Jack Black says chicken jockey during the movie, they trash the cinema. And I hope some people get arrested for it. I really do. Or at least have to pay to have it cleaned up. Because it's the kind of, oh crap, stupidity that oh no! You know what I just did? Damn. I just broke a CRT. I did it live on TV. Oh well. Has anyone got any spare CRTs? Okay. Oh, there that is. The flux has to be on the floor here now that I think about it. There's so much stuff on the floor here. I just, I flicked my leg around as I was moving, and I just heard this. It's not a sound you want to hear. Okay. Now. Okay, now let me just check the chat here. Okay, there we go. All right. Now, I'll try not to break anything else today. So I'm going to grab myself a pair of tweezers and I'm going to start moving some of these components from here to here. And in the meantime, if anyone has any stories, Quadra related stories, seeing as we're doing a Quadra 950, it doesn't have to be a Quadra 950, but if anyone has any Quadra related stories, please feel free to drop them in the chat. You know, maybe the first one you ever used or your favorite or anything along those lines. Okay. Whoops. I generally run, when I'm using these for surface mount components, I usually run the hot air station at a relatively high temperature but a low fan speed. Oh, this is, I broke my own. This is just good to know that the CRT that I broke is my own one. So that's something, at least I didn't break a customer's. Lazy Jones, hello there. Oh, just the little, what do you call it? The little 9-inch, just the, it's an SE30 CRT. It's the one that I got. You know, I did the not barn find. I did the a video about where I found two Macs. One was a 512K, I think, with an upgrade, and the other one was an SE30, and it was just a corroded mess. And I went and cleaned it all up, and repainted, resprayed all of the metal and stuff like that, removed all the rust, and got it looking pretty good. But I just broke the CRT. There's a lot to be said about leaving an SE30 in a traffic way, but that's one of the problems I have with the lack of space that I have here. Okay, CB Meeks. Let's see. Yeah, CB Meeks. I had a Quadra 700 I bought for $20 about 25 years ago. Well done, sir. I lost interest in it quickly and dumped it. Boy, was that a mistake. Well, the story started well. Yeah, it's. I guess we've all probably got stories like that. Oh, hang on. My phone just went bzzzt. Why would my phone go bzzzt? Weird. Yeah, I mean, I have similar sorts of stories of getting rid of computers that I really wish I hadn't. I had an LC475 with a 2E card in it, and I sold it. I had a Supermac Thunder something or other new bus display card. It was one of the ones that had all the sort of acceleration, and it had even compression acceleration and stuff like that. Got rid of that. I had a couple of E-mates, got rid of those. And, you know, you go through this mindset at a particular time in your life where you sort of think, you know, what do I need that for? Why do I need it? I don't need it. So why? And then you find yourself regretting it some years later. So, that's meant to be white. It's blue. So I'm just going to switch this camera off and switch it back on again and get it to redo its white balance. So sorry about this, folks. In the meantime, we can look at the chickens that are sort of there. There we go. So that is no longer blue, it is now white. So we've got our white balance back. So we're looking a little bit better. Now, I'm going to have to move myself here. Yeah. Okay. Oh, okay. 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 R158. Okay, so they're not all in the same position here, so R167. This is going to be fun. It's going to take me forever to find them all. R196. Am I on the wrong side? Oh, I'm on the right side. Yeah, okay. So this is the point where I start screaming out to the sky, Bolle! It's not like a 900, is it? I haven't got a Quadra 900 board here instead of a 950, have I? That's what worries me. Because if I have, the whole thing could be over in a flash. Just having a look here, and things look like they're in the same position. Pretty close. Because it doesn't actually say it on the board. R196, R183, R180. I'm a little bit perplexed here. I mean, it does look like all the components are the same. They're just not in the same position. Carthor, hello there. I'm just now having this horrible feeling that I'm going to just look this board up and make sure I don't have a Quadra 900 instead of a Quadra 950. There's no CPU on there, so I can't really check that, but I'm going to look up the code of the board. Because it doesn't, as I say, it doesn't actually have the name on it. 03113. Cool. It is a 950. Quadra 950. Great. We're all fine. We're all fine. We're fine now. How are you? So I just have to find the components. They're not in the same spot. Alright. Alright, so let's start hunting. C133. I need my different glasses for that, I think. Here's my specialty glasses. Come on, mousey. Here we are. Good. Yes, everything's fine. Okay, everything is fine. The challenge I have is I just don't. I have to now find all these components. Ooh, bit of corrosion there. C115. Sorry, it's going to be watching my head. Won't that be fun? C127. If I could just find one, I'd be happy. C107. Hey, look at that. I found one. I found the first one. Yippee! Don't say that, Will. Okay, C107 is there. C107 is somewhere over here. I need optimism, eh? C107. Okay, I'm just going to hit that with a little bit of Fluxaroonie. This is my... Now this board is going to end up absolutely covered in flux. It's just going to be soaked in the stuff. And so of course it will have to be ultrasonically cleaned afterwards, and that's fine. I have some LC475 to reload and need to move everything over. Sent a picture on Discord of 040. Oh, cool. Odd those vias have solder mask on them. You talking about on this one? Yeah, it is interesting, isn't it? I guess it's just how they made it. Yeah, it's curious. Oh well. Right, we've moved a component. Yay! Let's take a break. Okay, C105. See, there's 106. There we go, C105. We're doing it. We're doing it. Okay? It will get easier as we go, because we'll find them all. I mean, as we take them away, there'll be less to find. That makes sense, doesn't it? C105. Shoddy workmanship. Look how crooked this one is. I wonder if along the way here I'll actually find the fault. Because there's a fault on that board because it's battery bombed. Oh, shivers. I'm not on the wrong camera. Sorry, everyone. Bloody hell. I'm making sure I get everything in view here and I'm not even on that camera. Like some sort of crazy idiot. Okay, there's 105. What else have we got? 105, 107, 90, 110, 115. Just seeing if we've got like a 104 because I saw that there. Okay. 167. I'm just wondering what is the best way to go. Do I take them off this board and then find them on this board? Or do I pick one and then try and find it on this board? I sort of feel like it might actually be better to take them off the old board and then find them on the new board. How many Rossmans of flux do you think it will be? Oh, it's got to be like at least 12 or 13 Rossmans for sure. Last one in my pile. Ah. I will have a look at that. I will have a look at that, Thomas. Thank you. So, R114. Maybe they're on the other side. I had this with the SE. No, they're all the low numbers on the top. So I think he's kept all of the ones on... Well, for the most part, I think he's kept all the ones that were on the top. So we've just got to find the locations of the ones on the bottom. So that's an R114. You know what? Bolle's going to watch this stream later on, and he's just going to be laughing at me, trying to find these. He's going to be, he'll be like, ha ha ha, got him. And of course, you know the other thing that happened when I did the SE, some of the components he didn't use. He actually said, oh, I left those out, they weren't needed. They were for the blah, 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 whatever, I can't even remember what. But he said they're for something, and they weren't needed. So there were some components that weren't even on that other board. So that made life even more interesting. I mean, the only way you figure that out is when the board is fully populated, and then you're missing them. I feel like the best way to work is to get the component on the new board and then try and find it on the old one. I think that's going to be the easiest way to work. So that's the way I'm going to do it. And it'll just come down to how quick I can be. So I'm going to look now for R167. And I'm going to pretend like this is going to just start getting faster and faster. I'm going to get better and better at finding them. They've got to be up here somewhere, surely. I never even noticed the fact that the Quadra 950 has video in and out. Yeah, I've already forgotten. 167. 157. 164. 166. Come on, it's R166. It's got to be 167 here somewhere. We can do this. What? 164, 166, 165. I'm sure I saw 165 here. 155, 165. Sorry, everyone. I'm trying to find R167. Okay, I'm giving up on that one. Let's try the next one. R166. Now, that one I do know where it is. Do you ever do any work on Amigas? Yes, I have. I did. You'll actually find a video that I did on my channel for Amigas. So there was a mod for the Amiga 600 and Amiga 1200 because there was, I can't remember, some sort of filter that fails. If you're running an Amiga with the original display, the actual proper display, you don't have this issue. But if you're running the composite output, there are these components that fail on the Amiga 600 and the Amiga 1200. Now, it's not my mod. Someone else designed it, but I just made a video on it. And it's where you can make a mod, replace a chip, stuff like that, and you can get your composite output back. And you can actually generally improve on the composite output as well. And yeah, so I did a video on that. For a while there, I was recapping Amigas, the 600 and 1200s, because they need recapping. They have surface-mount electrolytic capacitors that leak and fail. So I have done work on those. I have an Amiga 500, which I'm actually planning to sell because I just don't use it, and it's crazy for me to have it if I don't use it. But yeah, I have done recapping on Amiga 600s and 1200s. They're pretty straightforward. I mean, they're a little bit fiddly, but I should start playing bingo, shouldn't I? All right, okay. I'm going to do this. 166, 166, 166. R166, you see it? 166. Ta-da! R166. R158. We're looking for 158 now. 158. Bingo. House. I wish my eyes were better. Recapped my A600 A12, but I might do it again this time, use tantalums. Yeah, well, it's interesting you say that because I did it based on a recommendation on a website. And on that website, they were saying to not use tantalums, but to use polymer electrolytics. Because some of the electrolytics, they actually have a liquid in them and they can potentially leak. But the polymer ones, I think it's a powder or something, so they don't leak. They're more expensive, but they don't leak. And so I just went with the recommendations made by that person. So I don't know if it was the right or wrong thing to do, but it's just what they said. So that's what I did when I was recapping them. I probably recapped, I don't know, half a dozen, maybe something like that. 167. I'm just determined to find this bloody 167. We'll find it. Don't you worry. And it will definitely get easier as I start stripping these off. my general feeling, my gut tells me that a lot of these components we're looking for will be more or less in the same position, because I'm just assuming that the circuitry will all sort of be more or less in the same position as it was before. That, of course, could be a completely incorrect assumption, but I should have started at the other end, because I bet you those components are all in the same place. Oh crap, there's some on the other side. I bet you the missing one is on the other side, because there are some here with quite high numbers. So there's like R113, R152, R150, R172. Because I bet the one that I want is on this side. They said it would be great, they said. Wow, how am I even supposed to know what those ones are? Where are the labels? It's going to be challenging. Okay. All right. All right. Okay. Okay. R157. Yeah. Okay, I'm just going to move this one, even though it's not in order, but it's. I've found one. I've found one. Hey, Steve, how are you? I watched your little sneak peek preview video today, Steve, the one of VCF East. It's like a little sort of 7-minute video. Thank you for that. That's something you get to watch if you are a Patreon of Steve's channel. And I've lost it already. So, just to bring you up to speed, here, Steve, I am transferring the components from one board to the next, but unfortunately, the new board, the components aren't in the same place, specifically the little bird seedy components. So I am literally having to hunt down the components one at a time from the old board to put onto the new board. And, oh, I found one. R157. R157, there it is. Okay, we're going to grab this one while we've got it. R157. Everyone remember that. 157. $157. Yeah, so I thought, yeah, this would be great. I'm just going to jump on here and start moving these components across. It'll be real quick. Now, I had forgotten, so if we were doing this with like a classic reloaded, one that Kai does, and he basically just does a carbon copy of it. But because the way Bolle works, where he remakes these, makes them better, but at the same time he moves things around. I remember this from the SE, but it's a smaller board on the SE, so it doesn't take as long to find all this crap. 158. I'd really like to do 158. If it's around, 158 would be great. So this could end up being a very, very slow process. So this would be like a 12-parter, I think. I could, of course, just start taking off more of the fancy components. No board view, no. Can you take a photo of the board and have ChatGPT Siri find it? Probably, yeah. I may end up doing something like that. I may end up taking a photo of the board and going through and, kind of making an index stuff. So if I were to bring this into, say, an illustration package and then redraw all the labels, and then I'll be able to just do a search. I'll just go find, and I'll just find it on the page. I may end up doing that. 12 streams, 12 hours long. I don't think so. But yeah, I think I might end up having to do something like that because I don't know, maybe this will just start suddenly getting easier. My eyes will get tuned into it. C109. Did I see a C109 here? C102, C105. C105. Beep, beep, beep. So far I've moved 5 components. Just let that sink in, everyone. Yeah, I'm not sure how well it's going to go. I can try that. I can try it. But because of the nature of these characters, I don't know how well... I'll do a test. With the fancy. Let's see if it's even practical here. So I'm just going to use an example here. Let's just go... where do I search it? Where's search? Search. I'll do C110. How about that? I'll just do a search of C110. Search. C110. Oh. Yep, okay. It found it. Oh, wow. It found it on this one as well. It was amazing. And it's all the way on the other side of the board. It's on the other side of the board. Okay, so C110, which is here somewhere. C110. That was C110. It's on the board here. Somewhere. That one there, C110. That is on the other side of the board, near the CPU by the looks of it. No, near the something. Or is that looking... Oh, that's looking at the 2FX board. It's searching right through my photos. It's found it on the 2FX board. Yeah, it's the wrong board, fellas. Okay, let's try that one then. That's the 2F export as well. What about that one? Yeah. Okay, so I would need to take a better photo of this one. Yeah, it's all just finding results on the 2F export. But that's possible, okay? So I may end up doing that, for future. I'm not going to do it now because whatever I need to do is going to take time and stuff. So for the moment, I'm just going to keep plodding along this way. But that is definitely a possibility for the future. R158. R158, R158, R158. I'll just take a whole bunch of photos. 155, 153. Maybe it doesn't matter, mate. I'll just put them anywhere. I'll just grab just little components and just put them anywhere. I'm sure it'll still work. What could possibly go wrong? It doesn't help that it's really hard to read the writing on this purple board. C133. Right. Here's what we're going to do. Right, so let's try R158. I'm going to try that. Search. Whoops. Cancel. Search. R158. And it's going to find that on... Nope. it's searching through all of my photos, and it's like that's just turned up a CD-ROM. Here we go. That's just found R158. Okay, I have found R158, even though it found the wrong one. It found R16168, I think. But that is, was it 163? There's R158 right there. And I know where that one goes on the new board. So I'll take it. Okay, look at this. I've got a complete row of 3. I feel like that should be celebrated. Celebrated by a modicum of flux. There we go. I'm not using any fume extractor. Of course, I'm an idiot. Garrett. No. Ultimately, some of them are nearby, others are not nearby. Get Quadra 950 bingo cards for your live stream. Well, look at that. We've got a row of 3. I'm feeling really good about that. And we can get this C91 happening. That might be nice as well. C92, C90. Come on, it taunts me. There's C91. C91. It does indeed look like a project, Pretzel FTW. So anyone who is just jumping on and joining now, hello to you. Thank you for joining. I'm just going to have a quick little check here. There we go. The challenge that I've got at the moment is that this is a recreation board, and the way that Bolle creates his recreations is he kind of re-engineers them, and in a lot of cases end up making them better in the process. So he takes the schematic and then he goes in and lays out the board, and the things that need to be in the right position are in the right position, but other things get moved around. Now, as a result, I can't just grab them from one board and drop them into the same spot. I'm literally having to locate them on the old board. So I'll go here and I'll say I'm looking for C102, and now I have to find C102 on this board. Now it will probably be in a roughly same position, but you know, not necessarily the same position. Just drop C120 in there, no one will notice. 102, 102. And of course some of these components are on the other side of the board as well. C101. See? And see, that's another thing that it just taunts you. Ah, found C102. There it is there. I'm getting my eye in. Ow. 164. R164. Here it is. This is actually, it's actually working. I'm actually searching. Hello, Kenneth. It's quite the challenge. But we're doing it. We are doing it. I'm feeling like I'm a bit of a swing at the moment. Anyone sees me do something wrong or stupid, please feel free to jump up. I guess one of the advantages we do have with these is none of these are polarized. We're talking about resistors, ceramic capacitors, inductors. These can go on any way. I don't need to find the positive and the negative, or an anode or a cathode or anything like that. So that's kind of good. That I do like. That does make things a little bit easier here. Now, R167, that was one I've been looking for a long time. So I'm going to do the search on the image here. 167. Found. No. Okay, so that's comforting. It's not there. So here's what I'm going to do. All right. This is the way I'm going to do this. I'm going to take a big photo. Alrighty. Here we go. I'll take a big old photo with the super high resolution of this. I'm going to pop this under here so that we're not getting as much reflection. Crap. Stay up. Do as I say. There we go. Nope, getting reflection. If I do it that way. All right, let's see how well that works. All right, So yeah, someone's got to call out bingo soon. We're getting... Alright. Alright, so I'm searching for 167. R167. That's what I want. R167. R167. So, time for searches. Okay. R167. It's not finding it. It's not finding it on those new photos. So let's try the next one. C106. Found 12 of those. There it is. Okay, that is... Is it the same board? No, that's taken in 2019, so that is not the same board. Sort by date captured, that's what we want. Okay, it's not finding that either. That might be on the other side of the board. R165. Oh, for fridge magnet's sake. C104. We'll get one. That's taken in 2022, so that's not that board. This is crazy. I mean, are these all on the other side of the board? What's going on? Enzo, hello there. You need to help me find some components. R165, C104, C104, C103. I'm just going to have a quick look and see if any of these are on this side. So I'm basically trying to use the iPhone's text recognition to find components. I don't know. I mean, we've had some success with it. Yes, it is a lot of work. Shush. What a nightmare. So, let's try R167. It was R167? R167? 167? Nope. C106? Nope. Let's try R170. How about that? Okay, that's finding it on the... It's just amazing. It's pretty impressive the way it does this, but it's just not finding what I need. See, what's that? Is that an 87? C87. Ooh, no. Maybe I should just try a different part of the board. How about that? How did everyone feel about that? Oh, sorry to see you go, Macintosh. Welcome to Macintosh, but thank you for joining. And hello, Francois. Hello, Paul. Hello, Gutbomb. Marinating his brain in YouTube shorts. Yeah. Alright, so I'm going to try a different part of the board, see if I have any more luck with this section here. So we've got, I'll better tin some of these pads, so let me just do a little bit of left-handed mouse use here, and we are looking at scope. Okay. Iron went to sleep. Okay, so just a little recap for anyone who's just joining now. First of all, I broke a CRT a little while ago and I'm not happy about it. Just one of the little compact Mac black and white CRTs, but it basically happened because I don't have enough space in here. I don't have enough room to put all of the computers that I have currently being repaired, and so I had a computer on the floor and I stepped back and I hit the tip of the CRT with the heel of my foot, and so I'm less than thrilled about that. I went over some of the things that I've been sent in the mail, which is good. Some new stuff, which I'm going to be doing in some YouTube videos. And then, of course, I've started working on this. But the challenge I have is that the components are not in the same position as the original. So I am having to find them all before I bring them across. And that is proving to be a fairly tedious process. What have we got here? I need and I believe some of the components have been relocated from the other side of the board. So that's making life difficult. I am going to come up with a better way of doing this in the future, but I just don't have time to implement that now. But in the future, I'm going to create some sort of, indexy type thing. Something that I can search on the computer. C337. And then everything will be better. C336. C337. Okay, well, that's not close. C335. Are they on the other side? I should have done something like this before, but I just didn't realize that I was going to be faced with this situation. Which compact Mac model was it that now has a broken CRT? It's just an SE30. So it's just your standard 9-inch black and white. So, look, I've got like a couple of classic and classic 2s. I've got some spare classics. I can always steal one from a classic. I've someone that I know, I think it's actually said that they had a spare they'd be happy to give me, so I might just get it from them. But, I would much rather have a working SE30 than a working Mac Classic. So I picked up a Classic a while ago, just for cheap locally. I just saw it come up and I thought, I can't let that go. I can always steal a CRT from that. So, yeah. Oh, of course, I could always do the mod that our good friend Steban has done, Esteban, where he has put a little liquid crystal display in the SE30, but you need a display card for that. Or I could always use this thing, couldn't I? The thing that my good friend Will from KMax sent me. This is the little Who's a Fudge thing that allows you to get an HDMI signal out of the Mac. So I can always do that and just connect it up to a little HDMI LCD, something along those lines. Color cards via Zigzag Joe. I'm going to have to check that out. Anyhow, right. I'm not getting anywhere here. I've got to keeping on. 299. I thought this side might be easier, but it's not. It's just as hard. Okay. R316. Going to do a search for that. It's turning up codes on... See, I take photos of lots and lots of boards. And it's turning up codes of boards that I've got donkey's years ago. It would be good if I could isolate it to just search on stuff that I took today. Nope. R299. Nope. R298. Maybe I should just move some of the bigger components across until I get a better system worked out. I think that might make sense. What do you guys think? They'll be easier to find. So it might be working a bit arse about face, upside down face, but you know, what's the worst that can happen? And one of the first things I want to do is check and see what the PLCCs are like. So for those who aren't aware, PLCCs, plastic leaded chip carrier, and you've got these ones here. So they're the ones where the pins curl around underneath the chip, and they can either be mounted directly onto a board, surface mount like this, or they can sit inside a socket, a right sort of socket, a PLCC socket. And yeah, well, we've got quite a few of them here. Now, one of the problems that I've had in the past is that when Bolle recreates these, he recreates them with a particular sort of software, and that software is a little bit less than generous with the size of the pads when using PLCCs. You can see these ones here, these are all just like with little pins sticking out the side, and you can see there's heaps of room here. Great big, long, wide pads there, but then the PLCCs have often been a little bit smaller, and they make it very difficult for hand soldering. It's fine if you're using a stencil and solder paste, but they're a little bit tricky if you're doing it with hand soldering. Now, this is something that Bolle is very aware of, so he may have done it a little bit more generously on this one. We'll just have to wait and see. We'll start with a little one, because the little ones were the ones I had the most trouble with the SE30 board. So we've got U30 here, U30, they're in the same position. So I'm going to take this guy off, and I'm going to put him on here. So let's get that one off now, and we'll see how we go. I just think this is going to be a lot easier than the little components. I need a system with the other ones, otherwise I'm going to drive myself balmy. Not programmable logic control. Right. So if you have a look at this, when you look at this from the top down, this one is, if you have a look at the way, that's the side of the chip there, and the pin curls around underneath. And you can see the pad sticking out the side there. You can see it hanging out the edge there. And that extra width sticking out the side just makes it so much easier to work with these if you're doing them by hand. Different if it's a machine, but by hand. So let's start with getting this guy off. So this is going to be the first integrated circuit that I'm removing from the board here. I have no idea what it is. 341S1059A. It has a little, what is that? That's a, what's that logo? I recognise it. It's the little thingy with the thingy. It says Apple on it. But that is I should probably hit this with a little bit of flux. What do you reckon? Oh, it's already off. There we go. It's like, I'll hit some flux and make it come off easier. And then it just came off. Now, I'm going to clean the solder off the bottom before soldering it on to the new thing. And just to remind everyone, this particular device that I use for holding the chips, which is a little bit dirty at the moment, people regularly ask me where I got it. And I bought it, I don't know, probably from AliExpress or somewhere like that, maybe eBay. And I have not been able to find the same sort. So if I do ever find the same sort, I will make it available. I will share the link. But this little thing here, although there are ones that are similar to this, they don't close as tightly as this one does. This one closes quite tightly together, very small area, so it holds very, very small chips in it. Whereas the other ones I've seen, the little jaws, they don't come together as close, so you can't use it with the smaller chips. But anyhow, that's just how things is. So you can see all the little bits of old solder just hanging off there. I just want to clean those off. It will make things a little bit easier for me when it comes time to put it back on. I was going to grab myself some solder wick. I'll grab one of these mini rolls of solder wick that I found. When I do get hold of another CRT for this SE30, I think I will probably end up making a video of changing the neck board. Because although they are all the same CRT, and in actual fact you can take the whole assembly from an SE and drop it in an SE30, and under certain circumstances you can take the whole assembly from a Classic and you can put it into a Classic 2. You can take the whole assembly from a Plus and you can put it into a 128K or 512K. But you can't take the whole assembly, say, from a Mac Plus and then drop it in an SE. The neck board is different. So, is it the neck board or the yoke? It's the yoke. I think it's the yoke is different. So, but you can swap those yokes over. But when you do swap them over, it's a little bit sort of hair-raising, but it's not too bad. But then when you get them in, they need adjustment. So that's really what I need to make the video on. Do I have much trouble with QFN packages? You don't really get many of those in here. If the QFN is the one that I'm thinking of, I think just let me. I'm pretty sure a QFN is one of them's. I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that there is a QFN package there. I think that is. I could be wrong though. But assuming that is a QFN package, they take practice, and then you get pretty good at them. But you do need to have the right gear. I can say that for sure. You've got to be able to have a soldering iron that's able to deliver a lot of heat at an angle. I use like a little wedge type, like soldering iron tip, something like that, so you can run them down the sides. If I've got that right. Got the whole memory thing, Don't remember all these things. Okay, so this doesn't have to be perfect. I'm not looking to really clean this up. It's not in particularly bad condition. Just want to get the solder off it, that's all. Just makes it easy for putting it down onto the new board. Yeah, okay, so, yeah, look, in the early days, I mean, I don't do many QFNs anymore because most of the stuff that I use is too old. But every now and again I do replace a QFN. And some are trickier than others. Some are a real pain. In particular, if they've been a bit stingy with the pads. If the pads are like really, really close to the edge of the chip. If they're a little bit further out, it makes life a lot easier. But generally what I do with those is I liberally coat them with flux, clean everything off the pads, then I try and put as even a coating of solder onto those pads as possible, then heat it up, put the chip on there, again, lots and lots and lots of flux. The chip will generally often just sit itself in the right position because of the big ground plane underneath. Sometimes it might need a little bit of nudging. Then I take the heat away so that it's sitting there, but it's in the right position, and then I apply pressure to the top, apply heat again, and then it drops down. And then that's sort of how I usually do it. I'm not sure. I might have mentioned QFNs in my surface mount soldering video. I'm pretty sure I did. So I do actually go through QFNs on that. I'm almost certain I do. Okay, now, with this here, there's no solder on it. I want solder on it, but I don't want much solder on it. So what I'm going to do is just give it a fairly light dusting of solder. That's not light. It just makes it a lot easier, I think, if there's solder already on these. And then I get my WICK and I just clean it off so that they're tinned, but they're not lumpy. You could solder them all up and then you could apply hot air station and then you could just push it into position. I don't like doing them that way. I just find it sometimes a little bit difficult to get them in the right spot. QFNs have two identifiers as to which way around they go. They've got their pin 1. The pin 1 is a dot here in the middle of one of the sides. You can see that there. So that's pin 1 right there in the middle. And then they've also got this flat edge. Oh, Jay from the House of Moth is here. Perfect timing for me to turn on my Fume extractor. Because, yeah. Because I could smell fumes. I've lost a whole tube of flux. I have to find it. It's going to be on the floor somewhere. Very disappointed with myself. I might have. Is it possible I might have taken it up to the house for a photo? I do that sometimes. It's what is a QFN? So a QFN is a type of what would you call it? Integrated circuit package. Because we're keep in mind that all integrated circuits are tiny weeny little bits of silicon, and then they have to be in a package to make it so that they're usable because they're too small. So this is a package here that I'm using, and this is a PLCC package, and a QFN is a quad. No, Q is quad. This is 4 sides. I'll do one. As soon as I've done this, I'll remove and solder on a QFN, so we can just show you the method that I use for any soldering aficionados out there. Okay, so I soldered a pin on opposing edges, so I've done one there, and then I've done one there. So this is now in position, and then I can take my time on soldering the other sides. Usually get a bit of flux in there, like that. About a quarter of a Rossmann. And then I just run it down there, making sure I've got enough solder. I have to say, this is a whole different experience to when I did the SE30. So I'm calling it that Bolle went in and actually made these pads longer, because this is so much easier than it was when I did the SE30. This is just going down real easy. Are you thinking of QFP? No, I'm going to grab a different board. So yes, no QFN on this one. I'll grab a different board and I'll do one on a different board. But just seeing as there's discussion about it, I always sort of feel like I like to, as much as possible if I can, talk to that discussion. Because the worst thing in the world is if, say, someone's watching this later on, we start talking about something and I don't address it. And it's like, well, it'd be good to actually address it. I'm coming at this at a bad angle, so this side's a little bit harder than the other sides. I go a little bit overboard with the solder on these sometimes. You don't want to go too overboard, otherwise you're going to end up bridging them, but I really like to be able to see the kind of the blob sticking out the side. Can you see the blob there? I'll show you. You see, if any of these end up being flat, and so they just reflect light, you know, there's not enough solder on them. But when they're sort of a bit of a blob like that, you know, you're pretty good. So I'm just going to see if I can look at this from the side. Oh, I've got to do something about this cable. This is driving me bananas. B-A-N-A-N-A-S. Okay. So, looking at that, we're looking pretty good. This is where I came unstuck on the SE30 board and pretty much, and probably the 2FX board as well, where I either have a bridge or an unsoldered one of those. Can you address your thoughts on barbecue sauce on lasagna? I certainly can. I love barbecue sauce on lasagna. Now, admittedly, it's a particular type of barbecue sauce. It's an Australian brand of barbecue sauce called ETA, E-T-A, ETA barbecue sauce. And it's nice on just about everything. But I will say in my defense that when I do put it on lasagna, I mainly put it on reheated stuff, not fresh stuff. So if I've got some lasagna in the fridge that's, you know, a couple of days old or something, and I microwave it up, and I give it a little bit of barbecue sauce to give it a little bit of extra oomph. It is my own lasagna. I made it from scratch. So I'm allowed to do anything I want to it. I'm just saying. Now, QFN. We're just going to quickly do a QFN just to satisfy the curiosity of the curiosity. So this is one here. Right there. It's a big one. Can I find a smaller one? It might be easier. I'd be happy to, yeah, here's a smaller one. This will be easier. Smaller one. Now, the main thing you'll notice with this, if we zoom in, hang on, I'll plonk something on the mouse here. Need to get some food now. Okay, Carthel, I'll let you do that. Not a fan of barbecue sauce on pizza. Yeah, I know what you mean with that. I mean, I take it or leave it. Sometimes, you know, when they do the meat lovers pizza and they put barbecue sauce on it, it sort of sometimes just seems a bit sweet, you know. I don't know, and like sweet across the whole thing. You know, I'm someone who does actually like pineapple on a pizza, but it's not like I want a whole pineapple pizza, like a smattering of pineapple on there. So you just get an occasional bite of sweet, whereas the barbecue sauce they put on the base of pizzas is overpoweringly sweet. I will often have a piece and go, that's nice, but then by the time you have a second or a third piece, it starts to get a bit too much. But only with the appropriate microscope and micro iron. So Jay is referring to, the microscope he's referring to is this one, because it's the one he has. And this is the iron that he's referring to. This is a little called a micro pencil. And these get remarkably hot for a very, very small little tip. And I will probably use that for this, but we'll just see how we go. I haven't used this in donkey's years, so, but good to use it. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the old one off. I may end up knocking some other components off, but I care not about that because this is just a donor board. The other thing with these is that unless you have a board view, make sure you take note of which way around these are, because there are no identifying marks on the board that show where pin 1 goes. There's a little dot right there. Now the reason these take such a long time to come off is because underneath them is a great big flat sort of ground. You'll see it when we take it off. You see it there? Look at it. Look at it. Just look at it. You look at it. And then there is the corresponding flat spot underneath the chip there like that. This one has these little cutouts of it. They don't normally have that. No, they're normally just a great big square piece, but you know, this one is different. Yes, that is a very good tip from Jay. Making sure that you don't overdo it with a solder. You just want to go on really light. So I'm going to just put a little bit of fresh solder on here. The reason I'm doing that is the solder I'm putting on is leaded, and the old stuff is lead free. So it just helps bring that melting point down a little. And we're going to clean it up. I probably should clip this off a bit. And then, so I'm just going to get rid of all the old solder here. I moved the diode, look. But then again, I did say earlier on that I care not about that. Okay, so being very, very gentle with this, because you don't want to damage any of these pads, and you don't want to... oh crap, what the hell was that? Something fell down and it was heavy. Made a hell of a noise when it fell down, but I've got no idea what it was. Oh well, sure, we're fine. Now I'm going to clean this up. Let's get myself a... in my cleaning process, I have ended up making my Q-tips, my cotton buds, almost impossible to reach. So get these looking as clean as we possibly can. Get a little bit more of that off. There we go. Yeah, so you don't want to accidentally solder on a piece of the wick to the pad and then you pull the wick away and you pull the pad with it. You do not want that. No, sir. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. And if you have a look at the chip, you'll see it has this big ground section in the middle, and then it has these like flat pads, I guess, you know, on the bottom of the chip, rather than a pin as such. So they are the pins, but they're not technically a pin, they're just like a pad. See? Just like that. See? Gotta have flux. What sort of flux are you using that's in a bottle, my good sir? It's not the old Baker's, is it? I definitely would not be using Baker's for electronics. It is an active, corrosive, toxic, yucky stuff. Once upon a time, it was all I knew, though. Syringe, that's fair enough, yes. I've lost one too, but I've got so many because my good friends at Styri keep sending me stuff to try out, and I have been trying them out, and I've been just blown away with and impressed constantly with these guys. I cannot ever see myself ever buying a different brand of flux. Styri stuff is just so good and keeps getting better. So, yeah. There is another mob that make flux out there, and for a long time everyone was like, oh, they're the best, they're the best, they're the best. But, yeah, they're not. I don't like the fact that I've exposed this trace here, but I'm just going to hope for the best. Which one you're using now? So right at this moment, what I am using is an ASM, but it's a new variation of ASM. Hello to Cap. I'm not sure how I'm supposed to pronounce that last one. I'm not sure how I'm supposed to. I could have a crack at it, but I'll probably end up embarrassing myself. So I'll just say hello to Cap. Yeah, so I'm right this moment using ASM, but it's the ASM UHF, which has... They've removed one of the toxic chemicals from it. There are these group of chemicals, I can't remember, and it doesn't have any of those in it, which just makes it a little bit safer to use. But I have also been using the new one, the V5, and that's the business, that one. That's really good stuff. And of course it is far less toxic than a lot of other ones. So if you're using it regularly, or if you're using it and you've only got a cheap fume extractor or something like that, I wish I knew where it was. I think I may have taken it up to the house to take a photo of it. Either that or it's fallen on the floor. Either is possible. Or it's just pushed right up to the back of the desk here somewhere and I just can't find it. With a proper look I find. Oh, what's that? No, that's not it. But what is that anyway? Oh, I know what that is. And what's that? Oh, that's right. I got two of those. Halogens. Halogen free. There you go. Thank you. Thank you, Ruben. Yeah. I have regular contact with people from Stiri, and a lot of what they're doing, they're just innovating. They're just trying all this new stuff, and they're making different fluxes for different purposes. So, for example, if you're working with BGA chips, ball grid array, when you're putting them on, you want them to stay reasonably stable in position. And so they've made a BGA flux, which is a little bit thicker, that's designed to help hold that chip in position while you're melting it onto the board. So it's just clever stuff like that. All right, so I've cleaned this up. Now I'm going to hit this with a bit of flux and solder. There's probably more flux than I needed there, but don't tell anyone. And then we need to get some solder onto these pins, onto these pads. I'm trying not to get it onto the big pad in the middle. Yeah, I've made an absolute mess of these pads. Look at what I've done. Oh no. Oh, this is going to be a nightmare, this one. Can't bloody tell I'm out of practice, eh? Working on these old big boards is just getting me totally out of practice. Okay. So, we don't need a crazy amount of solder on there. We want a little. And then we just want a little bit of solder. Oh, that's too much. There we go. That's all right. It's too much, but it'll still be okay. All right, then I found it. This is the V5. So let's put this over top. There we go. Then we get the chip. You watch. Because I'm doing a demonstration of this, I'm going to completely balls it up. On the bright side, I'm pretty sure I did do this in a video, and I think I did it way better than this. Now, for this, I'm going to lower the temperature, otherwise I'll blow the thing away. And I'm going to hold this in position and hit it with the heat. Oopsie. There we go. That feels reasonably centered there. Or maybe up a tiny bit. Nope. Okay, so I think we're reasonably centered there. I was going to have a look up close with the microscope. Ow! Hot board. They look good. Yeah, what about that side? They look pretty good too. So I feel like we're probably in the right position here. And the next step is now to hold that in. I'm going to put some pressure on this chip, just top down pressure, apply some heat. And what we want is we want this to go straight down, not sideways. When it does, you're likely to see a bit of solder squeeze out. I mean, this is an absolute dog's breakfast, by the way, what I've done here. Just with regards to the way I scraped off all of the mask from the pads and stuff like that. So it's a real mess. And then this is where you need to use a very, very fine tip. And this is where I'm actually going to plug in my micro pencil rather than using my normal iron. I meant lower the airflow, yeah. Sorry, lower the airflow. That's what I meant. Lower the airflow. Thank you for correcting me there, Jay. Just getting carried away, you see. Yeah. Why doesn't this plug fit anymore? Oh, I must have stepped on it. Cool. Just bear with me a minute. stupid plug anyway. In my opinion, it is a stupid plug. Oh, shut up. There we go. Okay. Bip. Alright, so now I've got my little micro pencil. Better clean it up a bit here. I speak Bruce fluently. 1 p.m. here is 0 a.m. That's like as in midnight. Or 0 a.m. That would, yes, that's midnight. Yes, I do. It is a bit of an issue. There's the whole time zone thing. Alright, so I just get a bit of flux here. And then now I'm just looking to run this along the edges here. Make sure they all look neat and tidy. I don't think I'm flush, to be honest. I think this is, I've done an absolute balls up of this, but it doesn't matter because this board has a hole drilled in the middle of it. So it's not like it's ever going to work again. I do need to do these every now and again just to remind me how they're done, and you know, just sort of try and keep those skills alive. Because ever since I moved on to the big vintage boards, you don't need to worry about this as much. And even in my last video when I was working on a watch, you know, everything was tiny. Felt good to do some of that. Yeah, so that's more or less how I would. You probably didn't see any of that, so that's me just rubbing this thing sideways like that. So you know, you're wanting to just make sure that the solder is. I'm just trying to work out where to put this. There we go. The solder is. It's, you know, it's all flush, making contact on the bottom, and then just you get kind of like a little bridge or a little buttress, I guess, something like that, where. Like that, just on the edges there of those. So that's pretty much how I do a QFN. That's the steps that I take. I usually do it better than that, but that's because I'm very out of practice. Right, let's keep going with this thing here, which is, apart from the kind of troubled start, where I'm going to have to try and find a way of finding all of these components. So for anyone who's just joining now, hello, thank you for joining, welcome. I'm in the process of migrating all of the components from this Quadra 950 board onto a reproduction Quadra 950 board, because this one was battery damaged. Now I thought I would start off with the bird seed, i.e. all of the little components, the passives, the resistors, capacitors, what do you call those things, inductors. I thought I would move all those across first, but the challenge that I came across is that the reproduction board doesn't have all those components in exactly the same position to the old board. So I'm there looking at, okay, I need R168, and then I'm trying to find R168 on the old board, and it was just taking me forever. So what I'm going to do in readiness for the next installment of this video, I am going to take some photos of this board and kind of create a bit of an index of where the components are, so that I can actually do a search, so that I'll be able to, so effectively like a board view file, but it'll be one that I can just sort of search through to try and find where the components are. So when I'm like, okay, I need to find R168, I can just do a search for R168 and I'll be able to see where it is on the board. So I'm going to do that in readiness for next time, so that you can speed it up, because to be honest, the speed that I was going was just ridiculously slow. And it was just me hunting around on the board the whole time silently, and that's just not a lot of fun to watch. So I decided instead that I would start moving some of the integrated circuits across, and I thought, well, I'll start off with a PLCC chip. There's two reasons why I wanted to start off with a PLCC chip. The first is that I had troubles with putting the PLCC chips on previous boards that Bolle has created, because the pads are very narrow. But it looks like he's made it different, and he's made the pads bigger on this reproduction board. So they actually went across really, really easily. The other reason why I'm moving those first is because This board still has a lot of handling to be done. I'm going to be moving them around and, you know, flipping them over and all that sort of stuff. The PLCCs are a lot harder to damage. If you look at a chip like this with all these little fine pins sticking out the side, if that's on the board and it's getting handled all the time, there's the risk that I might, you know, bump one of the pins and bend it and end up like, I don't know if anyone saw that on Steve's stream recently, where we had some of these pins that were actually bending and touching each other. And so I will put these chips on later on at a point when there's going to be less handling of the board. So I'll move all of the robust things first and then move the delicate stuff later on. And that's, you know, that's a system I'm going to go with. But in the meantime, I will we'll move a few more components across. I mean, I've only been going for 2 hours, so you know. Let's get some more. Oh crap! Sorry, I'm getting a little bit crowded on the desk here now, which I can ill afford. So there's that. There's that. I cannot believe that I couldn't find that flux and it was just sitting here all along. Oh well. There we go. The QFN was the same size as the beige capacitor. Yep. One very important point we should make about the Quadra 950 for anyone who... Ooh, are you sure you wish to remove? No, I do not wish to remove anything. A very important point I should make about the Quadra 950 is that there are no surface mount electrolytic capacitors on it. So this is not one of the ones that can have leaky caps on it. These are all tantalum capacitors. You can stare at one right there. There you go. Look at that. 47 microfarad. Looks like it's 6. Is that a 6? So 6.3 volts, I guess. It's not a 16. Yeah. So, yeah. There's a tantalum capacitor on this, so means that they don't leak that way. But they can still have leaky batteries like this one did. For schematics to be available for repairs, I have an ASUS I need to fix and I have no info on the power bus. Yeah, look, Paul, I would absolutely love that. I would love it to be a legal requirement that board views and schematics are available for every single thing out there. That would be brilliant. But we know that's just not going to happen, alas. Curious if pins 4 and 5 are now bridged. Which one? Where? Which one? Wow. Oh, you mean on that that little chip that I just did on the modern board? Probably. I didn't check it terribly closely. I was sort of more just trying to demonstrate the method that I use, rather than necessarily end up with a fully functional sort of repair there. So one trick I have to make sure here when I'm removing these components is that I don't accidentally remove stuff that I don't want to remove yet. So I've got to be very careful with that. So I'm going to take off this little QFN here. No, it's not a QFN, this is a PLCC. Getting all confused now. So I want to heat this up and get this off. I might just get a bit of Fulks onto it. There we go. Eventually this board that I'm working on is going to get completely trashed. And it's going to get completely trashed because to get some of these through-hole components off, I'll end up putting it on a heated bed. And the process of putting things on the heated bed generally destroys the board. It just becomes unusable. But that's okay. Doesn't matter. Alright, I better check the code of this one in case this one's moved. This is U... Bloody eyes. U87. U87. G'day from Kansas City. Hello, g'day to you. G'day from Sydney. Okay. U87. Now, I'm not sure... Do I need... Oh, crap. Helps if you plug the bloody thing in. Oh, have I wrecked my glasses? I think they're okay. Oh, thank goodness. I've had my my little micro pencil was plugged in, not my main soldering iron, and I had it sort of tucked in here, but it fell out, and it was just sitting there right next to my glasses. And thankfully they're glass lenses. If they were plastic, I think it would be a goner. And they were expensive. They're my special glasses, because I'm special. Now I have to work out what to do with a hot soldering iron, where I can put it so that I don't burn things. There we go. That'll do for now. I'm a thinker. I'm a thinker. Right, that's now heated up. So let's get some. I'll probably just flux it, and then I'll get my solder wick, and I'll get some solder on my solder wick. So I've got some solder on the pad here, and I've got some on the wick, and then I'll just do this. Gently brush the pads. My preference, and this is not, I'm not trying to put my stuff on everyone, but my preference when I get boards made up is to get them tinned. These aren't tinned, they've got like a, I don't know what this coating is on it, some sort of coating on them. But I much prefer it if they've actually been tinned. It might cost more, I'm not sure, but I would always choose that. Because I tin them anyway. Back to the Quadra 950. So again, just setting expectations for everyone. This is not something that is going to be tested today or anything like that. This is likely to take, I would say, probably at least 3 streams before I get to a point where I can do any testing. It's just a lot of work to be done. It's the biggest reproduction I've ever done. Have to be a little bit crazy. There we go. Oh, you know what I didn't do? Because I'm an idiot. I didn't clean the bottom of the chip. So it's probably not even sitting properly flush. What a turkey. It's only my second one and I already forgot my system. Yep, got some bridges. Okay, let's get a bit of wick to clear away those bridges. Cool. Okay, just going to check this out from the side. Oh. Is everyone still with me? People dropping off? Good. Good. Oh, we got a bridge. That looks all right. Okay, it's another chip. All right. So that one goes there, and this one goes here. I will probably wrap up fairly soon. I need to go out and do some shopping. I am making a super yummy meal tonight. You'll just have to take my word for it that it's yummy. And I want to make a coleslaw to go with it. And to make a really good coleslaw, you've got to kind of make it a bit in advance so that that dressing has a chance to kind of soften up the cabbage. So I'm going to go out. Got to go out and get some cabbage. Then I'm going to come back and I've got to make the dressing. And then I make my own coleslaw dressing. I don't use the stuff from bottles and stuff because I can't stand packet coleslaw dressing. Then I mix it all up and I sit it in the fridge for a few hours, and then by the time we eat dinner, it will be lovely. This is going to sound kind of wacky, but I don't like coleslaw. I would never order coleslaw from anywhere, but I like my coleslaw. You might like my coleslaw, Jeremy. You can't say that until you've tried my coleslaw. How do you deal with spam bots and trolls being a creator? I don't get hit with it too much. Every now and again, Steve Mac84 was doing a stream the other day, and there was someone that just kept jumping in and just having to block them over and over again because they kept coming back with different sort of identities. I don't get that. I do very occasionally get someone that is, a bit of a wally, but I don't know. I don't have to worry about it that much. Often when I release a video, I get these weird comments from people. They're just kind of like nothing comments. And they definitely look like they're made by a bot. I just let them stay there. I don't care. They're not offensive. Okay, this is the step that I missed out from the last one, and that was cleaning the old solder off. I do occasionally get sort of trolley type messages on the channel. I just delete them. I just delete those people. I don't have the time nor the energy to engage with someone like that. And of course, I also, some people are very specifically looking to get a response. And I think if you do respond to them, then they're winning. So those sorts of people, as I say, I just block them. And sometimes I just hide the message. I mean, I had one person that just kept on going. I had one of my videos, and they kept on just saying the same thing. Something about, I can't remember. And it was just a nothing comment. It was sort of totally irrelevant. And I just removed the comment, and then commented soon after, "Oh, I see you removed my comment. But I'm just going to say it again. You'll probably remove this too." And then I just blocked them because, so as I say, if you have something to say about that thing, with you can go in and sort of make your own YouTube channel and go to your heart's content, but don't use my YouTube channel for your agenda. That's what I basically say. U84, just make sure I'm putting the right thing in the right place. U84, yep. Oh, like that ultrasound tub will never work. Yeah, I get that a lot. I do get that a lot. I used it yesterday, actually. The one thing that I made when I made that big laundry tub ultrasonic, the one bit of functionality that I added to it I'm so glad I did it. And that is I set it up so that each ultrasonic driver has its own switch, so I can run it with 2, 4, 6, 8 or 12 ultrasonic transducers, and I can just switch whichever ones I want on or off. And the advantage of that is that I can just fill the tub. I don't have to fill the tub all the way all the time. If I end up just filling the tub, up to there, I can just use, I'm only going to use 3 of them because there's not enough water to use all of them. So giving it that ability so that I can run it without it being full by setting how many. And then I've got little marks on the tub. So there's mark number 1, that's for 2, that's for 1 driver, mark number 2 for 2 drivers, 3, and I can just alter the combinations of which ones I use. So it works out really well.
Gonna get some solder onto these pads.
There we go. A lot of people are assholes, yeah. Yeah, and as I say, it's like people are sort of entitled to their own opinions and stuff like that. And I mean, even if I'm doing a product review and someone says, "Oh, I bought that product and it broke," or something like that, I got no issue with that. That can stay up there. That's their personal experience with that product, and it's relevant for that to be put into the comments. If that's the experience they had with the product, I might have had a great experience. I can only review what I'm sent. So. But if someone has a bad experience with that product, by all means, I'm not going to block that. What I do block is if I'm selling a product and I'm selling it with an affiliate link, and then someone puts in a different link for the same product, that's gone. Of course, that's gone. I mean, the whole purpose with an affiliate link is that someone uses my link, and I get a little bit. The price is still the same, but I just get a little piece of the sale. And if someone puts in a different link to a product, it's like, of course it's going to get deleted. But yeah, I've got no issue. But when people sort of are using my channel for their own agenda, whatever it might be, and then that's when I sort of say, no, you can't use my platform. My platform that has whatever it is, 65,000 subscribers or something like that. You can't broadcast your agenda to my 65,000 subscribers. By all means, make your own channel and start getting subscribers to push your agenda, but don't use mine. I will have to have a party when I reach 68,000 subscribers. I think I'll have to do some sort of special 68K live stream when I reach 68,000 subscribers. Okay. I managed to get a Donor Classic 2 Mobo, recap it after giving it a wash, and finally have my first working classic black and white Mac. Awesome. Now I'm learning the difficulty in getting software onto it. Yeah. Hello to Burnt Out Electronics, by the way. So, Classic 2, obviously that's great because it's a 68030 CPU. Unfortunately, it has that 10 megabyte RAM limit, but, it's still better than 4 megabytes, I suppose. And of course, it's a 16-bit bus, I think. Which kind of sucks, but it does give you that classic experience. The one thing I don't like about them is the analog boards of those, the Classic and the Classic 2. Their analog boards are just poop. Bad caps on them, just cheaply made, and they're a low-cost computer, so of course they're cheaply made, but yeah, that's my general feeling about them. I don't really like working with them anymore because of that. Wow, there's a very loud noise coming from the neighbours. Don't know what it is. Are they mowing? They might be mowing. Have to bail, guys. Thanks. Thank you, Mark. See you later. Like to see you hit 1,000 subscribers. I would like to see that as well. Look, I think it'll happen eventually. I'm not... I know what I need to do to get those sorts of subscriber numbers. But at the moment, it's just it's a time thing. I'm doing as much as I can. I know I need to do more, but you know, it's sort of I am a self-employed web developer, and so there's only a certain amount of time that I can dedicate to the channel. But I have grand plans, and I may be able to put them into play some stage in the future. I don't know if it's someone's using a chipper or something, but I'm telling you, there is something next door making one hell of a racket. "2002 was the worst year for electrolytic capacitors." Yeah, capacitor plague. Bringing some wine to enjoy for the 68K stream. The only problem is if I do a wine stream, it's one that I do late at night, and then a lot of people are in bed. I mean, I suppose I could start early one day. Say, stuff it, I'm going to have a liquid lunch. I mean, it's lunchtime now. I don't normally, I might occasionally just have a beer with lunch, not only on special occasions, like if I've gone out somewhere. But typically, I leave the drinking until after dark. I'll tell you, someone who is just continually blowing me away with the progress of his channel is Sean from Action Retro. You know, I think about, you know, I mean, I've known Sean for a few years now, and I think about the early days, you know, all the videos when he was just hands with a voice. And he basically shot that way because he didn't have the space to actually put himself in front of the camera. And he definitely found a niche. He found a really solid niche, and he has kept his he's kept that. You know, he hasn't wandered away from what he does. He's remained consistent. So that means that the subscribers that have subscribed to his channel are there for that thing. See, my content varies from time to time. I do product reviews, I do computer repairs, I do soldering, I do 3D print stuff. And because I have a variation in a lot of the stuff that I do, I might get someone that subscribes because of my 3D printer content, and they've got zero interest in watching this. They've got zero interest in watching me, you know, repair a vintage computer. And so when I release a video, I don't necessarily get the same number of views relative to the subscribers because I may not necessarily be catering to, you know, to all of those people. So yeah, that's you know, the remaining consistent with your content, I think, is one of the things that really helps get those views. And of course, he does all of those ads in the videos, and I find them a bit of a pain. But they are, of course, another way of earning money from your channel. I always struggle with those little ad placements because I never know where to put them. I make my video and then I'm like, oh crap, I've got to stick an ad in here somewhere. The other thing is that I tend to try, not my live streams, but the videos that I make, I tend to make what they refer to as evergreen videos. And what that means is that they are videos that keep getting viewers. They're not just a flash in the pan. They're not like you get viewers just to start off with and then people never come back again. So things like product reviews or how-to guides, that sort of stuff, they remain evergreen because anytime someone wants to find something out, if I do a guide to soldering, someone says, oh, I want to learn a bit more about soldering, they see the guide, they go, oh, I'm going to watch that. It doesn't have a short lifespan. If I just did a video where I was commenting on a movie coming out, that's going to have a limited lifespan. The movie's going to come out, the commentary is going to have some value at that particular time, and then it's going to be, it's over and done with. And then that video is might have views at the beginning, but then no views afterwards. And I do tend to focus, not with the live streams, but with the other stuff, I do tend to focus on evergreen style videos, ones that will continue to get watched further down the track. Hot chip, hot chip. Ouch. Mainly here for the cooking tips. Good on you, Grant. I'd love to actually add some cooking content to my channel. I really would, because I love cooking. I know one thing. Now I'm going to just let me just preface this what I'm about to say here, because I know that there are some people who don't eat this particular meat for religious reasons. But I am cooking a pork belly tonight, an oven roasted pork belly with crackling skin, and I have got a system for getting the absolute perfect crackling. So perfect every bloody time. Yum, 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 yum. I have to keep looking at the codes of these, because given they're not all in exactly the same position, I just need to be 100% certain U80 that I am putting them in the right place. So we're going to do U80 now. This should be U80, and it is. There we go, U80. There we go. Let's get that into focus. Focus. I used to work with a lady, lovely lady, and she was Polish, and she had quite a thick accent. And whenever she said focus, it sounded like a swear word. Oh, we're sitting on 50 viewers, so we'll probably do what do we go? We're two. I might stick around for a few more minutes, and then I'll probably wrap it up. As I say, I need to go out and do a little bit of shopping and some food prep. And wouldn't mind running the vacuum cleaner around the house as well. It's getting a little bit dirty floor. What happens when you have pets? I have 2 cats, 4 chickens. And before anyone says something about that must be great because you get free eggs, there's nothing free about it. You have to buy chicken food, and you have to clean the coop, and I don't do it because the eggs are cheap. I do it because the eggs are good. Fresh eggs, straight from the cloaca. They are magnificent. Just beautiful. They poach beautifully and they fry beautifully, and yum. Looks like the board has bigger pads on it. It sure does, Foxhound 477. Okay. Went to a Vietnamese restaurant for dinner last night. Very, very nice. Before anyone asked, no, I did not have a pho. I didn't feel like a soup. I had a Vietnamese pancake. Oh, we shared it. My wife and I shared what we had. And a Vietnamese pancake. I need to move this over to the left a little bit, I think. I had... that's better. Come on, stick. There we go. I had a crispy noodle dish. It was like these noodles that have been fried. They're crispy noodle, then with a lovely sauce and some beef and veggies and stuff. It was like a stir fry and yum. And then some fried rice, and there was something else I had. I can't remember what it was. Jeez, it was nice. This restaurant that's not too far away from where I live, they closed for 7 weeks for a refurb, and we've really missed it because I love a bit of Vietnamese food. And so we found out they opened up. They had their grand reopening on Wednesday or Thursday this week, and so we're like, we've got to get back there. So we got back there. Just trying to remember what the other dish was. We had another dish. There was the pancake. There was the stir fry. There was the rice. Got some spring rolls. They were beautiful. Can't remember. Now, Ray, remind me which one the bun is. It's there. There's a Vietnamese dish, and I cannot remember what it is, but it's kind of like, rather than a soup, it's kind of like noodles with like veggies and meat and stuff in it. You can get different types of meat in it. And is that it? Okay, vermicelli. All right, no worries. Bean thread noodles. But because we have a pretty solid Vietnamese population here in Sydney, which means we also have some awesome bakeries. We're actually stone's throw away from 2 Vietnamese bakeries, which is great. Trying to get rid of one solder bridge and I make another. Just got to get a little bit more flux here. Served with a fish sauce side to add. Yeah, that sounds like, I'm pretty sure I have had that. There was another Vietnamese restaurant that I used to go to. They're gone now, unfortunately. They changed hands, and the new people, even though it's still a Vietnamese restaurant, now they're doing it as sort of like combined Vietnamese Chinese, and the Vietnamese food ain't as good, unfortunately. But they used to do that, and you know those little oh man, this one's a mess. You know those spring rolls with the netting, little net spring rolls? Love those. Absolutely love those. They are so tasty. I think we're good. Net spring rolls. Yum, 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 yum. We ended up bringing quite a bit of food home because we did order too much, but we knew that at the time. We were like, this is going to be way too much food, but I want that, and I want that, and I want that. But make good leftovers. David Russian, hello there. And what are we taking off this time? This looks like I might be taking off a SCSI chip. Maybe? Maybe not. Not sure. I like to test if Quark Express was faster to launch on a Quadra 800 than InDesign today on Intel machines, as I believe it was. I would think that Quark Express would load faster than InDesign. I really would. That would be my thought. InDesign, while Adobe products in general are pretty damn bloated these days. My main issue with InDesign now is they've gone to a subscription model. And I know why they have gone to a subscription model, but I just don't particularly like a subscription model. I want to change across to Affinity, the Affinity suite, even though Canva bought them. But I am not quite ready to do it yet. Most of the time when I sit down to do something in Adobe, I'm usually in a rush, And so you go with what you know when you're in a rush. You don't try something new. So I sort of need time to there using Affinity and spending time on it and that. And if anyone is looking for an alternative to Photoshop, there's one called, is it Onion or something like that? No, Acorn. Acorn. There's a product called Acorn, and for me, it is the closest thing to Photoshop in terms of usability. If you are a Photoshop user and you're used to using Photoshop and you are proficient in it, you can move across to Acorn relatively easy. U61. It costs money, but it's a hell of a lot cheaper than Photoshop. U61. Bought the Affinity apps. Yeah, I bought them. They had an offer recently where they had a special price on all of them, and I just thought, well, I'll start using them one day. May as well grab them now. The main one for me that I'm trouble weaning myself off is Illustrator. A lot of people don't use Illustrator, really only, sort of probably professionals using Illustrator. But I use Illustrator a lot. Well, we don't have to worry if we bridge these two together because there's a pin going between them anyway. Oh, thank you, David. Much appreciated. I don't do the EAPs, I'm afraid. I was always trying to think of something I could do when I got a super chat, but I've never really been able to think of anything interesting. So I just have to say thank you instead. Oh yeah, I saw that stuff about the houses packed with stuff. The interesting thing about that is I had a look at one of those videos. I haven't looked at all of them, but I just looked at one of them. And I saw stuff in that related to the industry I worked in. So I'm guessing the person who used to have those houses probably worked in pre-press. Because I saw a whole bunch of stuff there. I'm like, oh, I remember those, getting boxes of that stuff back in the olden days. Okay, that's not soldered. Need a bit more solder. Inkscape instead of Illustrator. Yeah, I did try Inkscape, and I wasn't a fan. There were just a few things about it that bothered me. I can't even remember what it was, but it was the first one that came up when I was searching for alternatives to Illustrator. So I gave it a try, and I didn't like it very much. But I cannot remember why. For the life of me, I can't remember what it was that I didn't like. I didn't mind the Affinity one, whatever it's called, Affinity something. I didn't mind that one, but there were a few things that it did differently. I could still do them, but it wasn't very intuitive as to how I would do them, so I would have to really kind of practice to get those things to become second nature. Specifically resizing things, the way I resize things. It has a kind of weird way of working. I don't know why it works the way it works, but... Have I been getting these around the right way? I feel like I haven't been paying enough attention to whether I'm actually installing these the right way around. Yeah, it's the right way around. Even though I haven't been concentrating on it, my subconscious is obviously still doing the job. There we go. MacBook Pro 2012 won't upgrade to High Sierra. Turns out I'd forgotten a third-party SSD I'd put in the optical bay as a SATA cable was bad. Yeah, so it's actually the little cables, the little hard drive cables inside those are really very, very prone to failure. I've actually got, I think I've got a few spares of those lying around, but yeah, that's a very common problem with those. I've actually got one of those little CD drive bay drive expander things myself, but I don't really need it because none of the laptops I used I don't really need that much space on them. So I've got like an internal 1 terabyte SSD, whatever, but haven't needed to stick a second drive in there. I'd like one in my more modern one. My main laptop used to be a 2012 quad-core i7 15-inch. That used to be my main laptop. But I recently got hold of a 2018 Touch Bar. Now, unfortunately, it's got a butterfly keyboard, which sucks. But other than that, it's quite a powerful little Mac. It's way better than my 2015. And of course, it's got that beautiful big screen, the big retina screen. I love it. I think I might make this the last chip because I feel like I need a bit of a break. Get some food into me. And some liquid. Won't be anything alcoholic at this time, but just, soft drink of sorts. That's what for anyone here who is not Australian, that's what we refer to when we're talking about fizzy drinks. If it's a fizzy drink, we call it a soft drink. I know that there are some parts of America that will call it like soda or pop, or apparently some places just call all fizzy drinks Coke. I've heard that. Just like whatever it is, it's Coke. Lots of film era printing equipment, drum scanners, papers. Picked up a densitometer as I do print color photos in my laundry darkroom. Too many hobbies. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I could see rolls. When I looked in there, I could see rolls of like bromide and stuff like that. I remember getting those sorts of things. I remember the boxes from when I used to work in that industry. Main driver is a late 2013 15-inch Retina. Yeah, I mean the Retina is good. I mean, look, seriously, the 2018 that I use, I got for quite cheap because it was broken and I repaired it. And I'm very pleased with that because it's very rewarding when you get a laptop that's worth a lot of money and you don't pay much for it, but you repair it yourself. I would, if I was to choose one, I would have chosen one that didn't have a butterfly keyboard, like a 2019. Or if I had more money to spend, I would definitely like to buy a more modern one. This one I have has 4 USB-C ports. I guess they're Thunderbolts, 2 on either side, which is not too bad because my other one, my 2016 13-inch, that only had 2 ports on it. 2 friggin' ports. So you plug one in to charge it and you've got 1 port left. It's like, what the hell, Apple? Who do you think you are? U47 is what I'm doing. Yeah, that's bizarre, isn't it? Calling them all Coke. I'd like a Coke, please, yeah. Coke here just means Coca-Cola. I mean, you might end up having to get asked whether you want one with sugar or caffeine or something like that. When I have Coke, I have it caffeine-free because caffeine doesn't play along very well with me. The one thing about that, well, I have talked about this before in Australia. The way we refer to chips, as in like if it's chips in a bag, kind cold chips sort of thing, we call them chips. And if it's hot chips like fries, we call them chips. Everything's chips. But the other one, which I have mentioned this in my streams before, is burger. Because Australians and Americans do burger very differently. Now, at the end of the day, burgers are kind of an American thing, so I guess you guys are making the rules. But for anyone who does come to Australia sometime, a thing gets a name burger by the bun it's in. So if it's a hamburger bun, like that sort of bun, that sort of bread, it's a burger. So it doesn't matter whether it's got chicken in it, or if it's got fish, or it's got halloumi, or beef, or pork, or whatever. If it's in a hamburger bun, it's a burger. And I have it on good authority that in America, something like if you go to KFC and get a chicken thing, they actually call that a chicken sandwich, whereas here we call it a chicken burger. That's how it works over here. A sandwich is sliced bread, thin sliced bread. That's what a sandwich is here. So if someone says, I want a chicken sandwich, and someone handed you a KFC chicken burger, you go, no, that's not a sandwich. A sandwich has got to be between two slices of white bread. That's a sandwich. So it's the bread that dictates what it is. And then if you have something like Subway, those long rolls there, we call those a roll. So they say, oh, come and have a Subway sandwich. It's like, no, that's not a sandwich. That's a roll. Now, there is only one exception to this rule, and that is a bacon and egg roll. If you have bacon and egg, it doesn't matter what bread you put it in. You can put it in a sandwich, you can put it in a burger bun, you can put it in a roll, whatever. If it's got bacon and egg in it, it's called a bacon and egg roll. So there you go. Making anyone hungry? Yeah, butterfly keyboards suck. It only takes a tiny fleck of dust to get underneath a key to stuff the key up. Oh, Jack 68K, where have you been hiding? 5 a.m. Good night. Thank you for joining. This is the last chip I'm putting on, and then I will also be quitting for the day. Go shopping. Thank you. Looking forward to see how it comes together. I'm off to work on a 386DX before I get too hungry. Go for it. Yes, well, this one, there will be more live streams on this one, I can tell you. And we'll see whether people will watch them or whether they're just going to be hanging out for the one where I test it for the first time. I think I have to run a wire or something. Bolle sent me a message saying that there's a little bodge wire I have to run, I think, because of a fault in the design. I think. I could be wrong, but I'll check that when we get closer to test stage. Excuse me. Bridge. Take it to the bridge. Just had a hot dog and fries or chips. That'd be chips. We call them chips. Except for McDonald's. McDonald's calls them fries. But I still ask for chips. When I go up to the drive-thru or whatever, I'll say, I'll have a small chips, please. Even though it's called fries on the menu. But it's like, yeah, no, sorry. I'm Australian. Deal with it. When someone says fries here in Australia, you're going to be expecting very thin shoestring fries, very thin ones, very thin, like McDonald's fries. But here, if you were to go order a meal somewhere, you are much more likely to end up with a thicker type of chip, one that's, like a thick one, not thin shoestring thin. A lot of solder on that. Going to have to wick some of it away. I wick too much of it away. Okay, let's see how this looks under the microscope at an angle. In the US, we call it a burger if it's a ground patty rather than solid. Ah, interesting to note. KFC chicken breast on a bun is a chicken sandwich. Yeah. Patty with ground chicken is frequently called a chicken burger. There you go. So you're naming it based on the patty. So if it has a meat patty in it as opposed to a piece of meat. So, yeah, okay, fair enough. But just letting you know, oh, look at that little bridge we got there, you sneaky little guy. Just so that you know, if anyone does come to Australia, it is not what is in the burger that makes it a burger. It is the bun. It is the bread. If it is a burger bun, we will call it a burger. It's all about the bread here. Oh, and if anyone does come to Australia, you should try our white bread. Once again, I have it on good authority. This is anecdotal. I don't know this. But apparently Australian white bread is very, very good compared to... there's another bridge. Compared to breads in other parts of the world. It's the only bread I know, so I cannot necessarily say that this is a true thing. But that's something that I have read. Okay. There we go. We can start switching some things off here. We'll get ready for the sign off. Have a little look at this board from the top down. You see it looks like I've barely done a thing. So I have done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 PLCC chips. I will continue doing the PLCCs rather than these fine pin rods. As I mentioned before, when they are on here, the PLCC is a lot harder to damage if it gets bumped while I'm working on it. So that's it. Yeah, name based on the bread. Yep. So yeah, it's like burger bun, roll, or just like sliced bread. So if it's sliced bread, it's a sandwich. If it's a burger bun, it's a burger. And if it's a roll, if it's a bread roll, it's a roll. So, or a banh mi, of course, if you're having from a Vietnamese place, the banh mi. Yeah. All right, just going to check all the chat here, make sure I haven't missed anything. Almost midnight, New York City. Yeah, I'm pretty good with the East Coast time because all of my, most of my US friends are on Eastern time. So I know at the moment it's 10 hours ahead of where I am. Okay, when you guys are in daylight savings and we're not in daylight savings, which is the way it is at the moment, it's 10 hours. So it's 2 here plus 10 midnight. Yeah. 9 p.m. on the West Coast. That's good to know. So 19, so 3 hours difference. Cool. Yeah, that's similar to here between the East Coast and the West Coast. It's a 3 hour difference. Of course, Australia's about the same width as America. North America. Now, yeah, so done all these. Did a tiny weeny little amount of the bird seed here, but really not much. Not much at all, because I had so much trouble finding where all the components are. So what I'm going to do between now and the next one, I'm going to be getting the old board. I'm going to be taking a series of photos from it, and I'm going to be indexing where all the components are. I don't know what tool I'll use for that, but I will come up with something. And then once I have that, I will then have like a lookup. I might even do coordinates on the board or something like that. Some of the older boards used to actually have letters and numbers down them, so you could say, oh, that's going to be an F3 or something like that. But not anymore. They're not like that anymore, unfortunately. Not this. So I'm going to make some sort of like board view type thing so that when I need to find a component, I can just search for it, know exactly where it is on the board, and then bring it across. I may even end up doing some of that bird seed not on live stream, just to try and hurry this along a little bit, because I just need to keep in mind that people are watching this and I don't want to bore them senseless. Yeah, so we've made a start. Was it a good start? Well, I'd like to be a little bit further along, to be honest, but yeah, as I say, I'll try and make up for that a bit. 6 a.m. in Sweden. Oh, well, that's something. Okay, foxhound. Where is it? Evening. Okay, yes. Thank you, foxhound. Good night. All right, so yes, I'm going to wrap it up now. So I'm going to switch over to the camera to here. So thank you everyone for watching. I'll see if I can try and start an hour earlier, so that it's, because I start at 11 a.m. normally, but because of the time, because of the daylight savings thing, my 11 a.m. is now, later, sort of in the Northern Hemisphere or in the US. So maybe if I start trying to stream at 10, I could start, that would be 8, would be a little bit earlier. But anyhow, I mean, I've had a lot of people watching. I tipped over 60 at one stage, so that's something. I'm pretty happy about that. It's always good when the numbers get over 60. Yeah, progress has been made. Got this happening. I've got plenty of other things, as I mentioned at the beginning of the stream. Next week's stream, assuming, of course, I am able to stream next week, I'm going to be having a look at some of the cool little things that I got sent to me. So there's stuff from, I got these little kits sent from Josh, and I got some stuff sent from Kay Koba. I want to check some of those out in the next live stream. One of them I will be making an official announcement, because this thing here has not been officially revealed to the world yet. So I'm going to be checking that one out in the next live stream and showing it to you on what it does and why it exists. And let me know about the 040 if it's the correct part. Oh, thank you. Yes, I will check that out. I'll do that as soon as the live stream finishes. So thank you for that, Thomas. All right. Okay, so to everyone who joined, I say thank you very, very much. Once again, anyone watching this on the replay, well done. Thank you for watching as well. Always feel free to leave comments in there if you got something to say about it. I feel free if you want to leave comments about how boring it was trying to watch me, or watching me trying to find components on the board. Because yeah, that wasn't a lot of fun. I will be continuing with this, get it all happening. And hopefully we'll have a workable 950. I have no idea what I'm going to do with it. I don't have a case for it. I will either sell or donate it to someone, or give it away, or something along those lines. Maybe I might do that. Or I might turn it into a project. I might what about 3D printing a rack mount Quadra 950 case? How about that? So making a rack mount Quadra 950. I reckon that'd be ultra cool. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Okay. Thank you to everyone for watching. I do appreciate it. Thank you for keeping the chat lively. Thank you for keeping me company. It's been absolutely fantastic. I hope to see you at the next live stream. And yeah, that's it. Thank you, and bye-bye.